I coach leaders to help them with a specific challenge that they have. My approach is a little bit different. I use metaphors to help them identify where they're stuck and to present a different way of leading. One leader that I worked with was a new people leader, and he worked in marketing for a small technology company. And he wanted to be more engaged in his leadership approach with his team, but also with the customers that his organization, his association supported. So he wanted to be more engaging, more connected. So the metaphors that we used, there were two of them. The one for his current way, the current way he showed up in his leadership, was the way of the thoughtful sea creature. And as a thoughtful sea creature, he lives in a quiet, peaceful den. He observes others, and then he emerges when he needs to support his team member. He asks them questions, gives them direction and support, and then he returns back to his den where he can reflect and recharge. This metaphor and this approach to leading has lots of strengths to it. For him, it also had lots of limitations, and that's the thing that he wanted to change. So the other metaphor that we came up with, the future metaphor, was that of a sure-footed guide who travels with his team while caring for and supporting them along the journey. And as a sure-footed guide, he's confident in the path and the direction that they're taking. His team values and his experiences are things that his team trusts, and his expertise. So they can look to him to share explanations and give them bigger context for kind of what they're experiencing in the work that they're doing. So these two metaphors, where the thoughtful sea creature, where he was currently at, and the future metaphor for the sure-footed guide, help this leader see the strengths of his current approach and the limitations, and painted a picture of how he could lead differently and how he could be more engaged with his team members and with his customers. So he ended up moving from being somewhat detached to creating a more personal relationship that allowed for deeper connection and more effective leadership overall. It's hard to look into the mirror sometimes, and that's exactly what coaching asks of us. And I find that using metaphors like the thoughtful sea creature, it's an easier way to kind of look in that mirror and see what's working, but also see a little bit more objectively what's not working about that. So I find it's a powerful way of developing that self-awareness. I find the metaphors are also really helpful because sometimes you have lots of self-awareness, but you just don't know, well, what's the alternative? What should I be doing differently? And by using a future metaphor and painting that picture, it gives a bit of shines the light on how the leader can be leading or stepping into their role a little bit differently. So it is a powerful way to coach leaders. They can see themselves more objectively without the judgment or the guilt or any defensiveness. And it helps them identify what they're working towards. Let me know if you or a leader that you know has a specific challenge that you'd like to address. I'd be happy to connect and tell you a little bit more about my coaching approach and how I use metaphors.